Hi, my name's Jarrett.
I'm Eric.
Good going, introducing yourself after
It's
me.
weird. I'm talking to the ball.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
We're from the rock band Bowling for Soup.
You know who Bowling for Soup is?
Vaguely.
That they were a popular band when I was in high school for 1985.
1985.
All the bad guys want.
They wrote the theme song for Phineas and Ferb.
Phineas and Ferb, they're still touring. They've been doing it for a long time.
Bowling for Soup got together in 1994 in Wichita Falls, Texas. We started June the 4th, 94. We played our first show July 3rd, and we were playing shows all around Texas by the end of the year. Depression kicked my door down. Depression and anxiety, I think a lot of people start to experience certain symptoms throughout their life at a certain point, and I think maybe it gets to the point where they have to try and find a way to manage it. For me, it took me a minute to really talk to my doctor about it in the first place. The first thing that he said to me was, there's no magic pill. I can't just, if there was a magic pill, then we'd all be fine. So, this is going to take some trial and error. And he was right. It took me almost a year to find the right balance. Started talking to my friends about what was going on, and what I learned is everybody was worried about me, but they, it's just, what can you do? I was pretty much shutting everybody off. Being diagnosed as depressed and crippling anxiety and being on medication for it and all these things, I was always worried that I was going to go over the edge, that I had never been suicidal. I had never, wanted to hurt myself in any way, but I'd also never felt the feelings I was feeling. The biggest hurdle for me was I was in a funny band. I was known as this funny guy, and I was fairly successful. We're the anti-depression band, we're the band that gets you out of the funk when you've had a bad week or whatever. And I was just I'm not really sure that we can cross over, so to speak. That's the first time I put it that way. A friend of mine was starting a series on Facebook called Louder Than Stigma right here in Dallas, and just talk about mental health. But it was really strange. It was sort of like, hey man, have you ever had any problems? Do you want to come talk about it? And I sort of went into that interview going, I don't really know how forthcoming I'm going to be. And I was real forthcoming. And I just told my whole story. And I walked out of there and I felt like I was 10 foot tall. And, as you can see, we're all really, really busy right now.
I'm checking my Facebook.
So I started getting, as far as people responding to my story, it happened that first interview. And people going, you know what, man, this might have saved my life. And at first I was very uncomfortable with that. I was like, man, that's a lot of pressure. You're saying that I've actually had the message, this was going to be my last day on earth. I was listening to your music, and I'm still here. I'm always so grateful to hear that. And even if somebody messages me and says, hey, I'm really having a hard time, I'm like, hey, guess what? You just took the first step, bro. I really think that we're getting to a point where, we're starting to get past the stigma of it all. I think we're getting to that point where people are allowing themselves to show that emotion, show that weakness, and it's not a weakness. If you're someone who is having some issues and you think nobody's there to talk to you, you don't have anybody to talk to, go to punkrocksaveslabs.org. There's somebody to talk to. Go to the Bowling for Soup fan page. There's somebody to talk to. As wild as our show is and as fun as it is, I take my band are amazing and allow me a few minutes each night to just address the crowd and say, hey, you know what? I'm certain that there's somebody here that feels alone. But when I got into my 40s, depression and anxiety kicked my door down. I feel like that we've reached a lot of people that way. When I do my talk during the show each night, it's not just some 14-year-old girl in the front row that's in tears. It's a grown man standing there with his kids, or it's a mom, or it's a family, or it's a who lost somebody, or it's everybody in the room in it together. It's an important song. One thing I wish everyone would be able to do is communicate. Think about a friend that you haven't heard from in a while, and then just send a 2-line text and just go, hey, just seeing what's up. You have no idea, really, till you're on the other end of that, what those little things can do. If you're watching this and you don't think you're worth it, you don't like your body, you don't like yourself, you're anxious, you can't get out of bed,
but your heart still beats the same.
just talk to somebody.
Thank God that'll never change. So here's to the sisters I never knew I had, and to the brother that I did.
To end this off, and this might be a very tough question. Are y'all bowling on the behalf of soup, or are you bowling to receive soup?
Since it is our job and we play music to make money to, I guess, feed our families, we would be bowling to receive soup. However, if soup ever needed us, we would certainly be there on its behalf.